Welcome to this short demonstration on how to use the simple import process from Fairy Pixel Dust. So here we are within xLights, and I'm going to go through a little bit of our groups within Fairy Pixel Dust. We use groups extensively throughout our sequencing process. When you take a look at actual sequence, here's one of our latest ones, Okamo Emmanuel. You can see that we've put a lot of the sequence data directly on groups other than the megatree. So if we take a look at the megatree, we apply all the sequence data directly to the megatree, but otherwise, as much as possible, we're putting all the sequence data on groups specifically. And this allows us to make it easy for you to map this sequence to your house specifically. So let's take a look at all the groups. We have a lot of them, but that's how we create so much movement within our sequences. And so in order for this to work best on your house, these groups are necessary within your xLights model. And I'm going to show you how to make it very easy to import all these groups and apply them to your house so that you can get the same movement and same look that we have at Fairy Pixel Dust. So first, I'm going to go through all the groups, and then we're going to show you how to transfer this or map this over to a sample house that looks completely different. So here we are at the Fairy Pixel Dust house, and we're going to start by just kind of going through the groups here. So here we have the All Floods group, and you can see here on the right, we have all the different highlights of yellow of what is actually in that group. So we've got some floodlights that are in there. Here is the All House group highlighted in yellow. The all trim group, so we've got just for the house all the different pieces of trim, the entire property without the chroma snowman. We then have the all house without props, the arches even group, so this is 2, 4, 6, and 8. Arches group, so this is all the arches. The arches left group, so we've got the group of arches on the left side included. The odd group, so 1, 3, 5, 7, and group there. The arches pair group for the left. The arches pair group for the right. Arches right group. Candy canes even group. All the candy canes. Candy canes odd group. The left side of the candy canes, the right side of the candy canes, the driveway highlights. Everything, again, except for the chroma snowman. The floods even, floods that are just on the garage, floods that are on the house, odd numbered floods. Let me go through some of the GE flakes. So this is the flake A, and it has a few different submodels built into it. So here you can see the arms are highlighted. And you can see in the model group, we've included just the arms 1 through 6. Then we've got the circles inside the GE flake A. And all the models down here are the submodels of the GE flake A. The even group for snowflakes, the odd group for snowflakes. The spokes themselves, again, another submodel on that GE flake A. The centers group. The outer balls on the rosary wreath. So we've got some a whole list of different rosary wreath submodels here again. Here you can see the slash, and we're using all the different outer balls, odd, even, arrows, group, feathers group, even group. There's a new group that we created, odd group of the feathers, the outer balls, the wreath rings, the spokes, and the ribbons. Now, if you have a rosary wreath, some of these groups are included. We've added some extras to get past some bugs within xLights that do some unique things, and so that's why we've created the even and odd. It also helps us create some very unique effects for the rosary wreath. Next, we're going to go on to the garage doors. So the even, so this is garage door 2, all the garage doors. The odds, so 1 and 3. The verticals, so we've created submodels for most of the models in our house, and that helps us create and isolate movement on different parts of the house. So here you can see the submodels have been created for the right and left vertical on each garage door and included in this group. Then we have the horizontals. This is called out specifically as another submodel. The left side verticals and the right side verticals. Then we have the garage trim group, all the garage verticals again. House outline group. This includes the driveway as well. House verticals. So we got the left and the right vertical. Then we have the mega snowflake and stars group. Mega snowflake groups. Mini stars group. Mini trees group. Mini trees even. Mini trees odd. Outer group. So this is just the two outer trees within the group. The arches and the trees together. Arches or trees and stars group. Mini trees even stars. Mini trees stars together. Mini trees odd stars. The outer stars. Even trees and stars. Odd trees and stars, and the outer trees and stars. Then we have the right verticals. You can see the house right vertical and the main entrance right vertical. Roofline and garage. So we got the main trim on both of these. Then we've got roofline and windows and door group. The driveway and roofline. The windows with the driveway and roofline. This one's empty for now. Roofline and windows and driveway group, spinners group, the mega tree and stars groups. So this is both the mega tree and star and the mini trees and stars. The verticals group, verticals with windows. So again, we've got submodels for all those. The verticals for windows and driveways. And then we use the windows a lot, right? So when you look at a lot of our sequences, you can see a lot of different highlights for different windows. And so how do we do that is we leverage, again, lots of different groups. And so as I scroll through these windows groups, you'll see different windows are highlighted. And this is how we get a lot of different movement on our sequences. So here we've got 1, 4, and 7 highlighted, 5, 2, 3, and 9. 6 and 8, then just the bottom windows, all the bottoms of the windows. So again, we've called out specific submodels on the windows. Then we're going to, we use this one to generate a clock pattern. So you can kind of, if you look at the house here with the windows, you can imagine a square. And so as we scroll through clock 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, they just kind of work their way through a circular pattern, opposing each other. Then we have the windows even group, all the windows together, different windows horizontals. This is the top and bottom submodels, the left verticals, the odd windows groups, right verticals groups, bottom center, top and bottom center. So this main entrance trim is treated as a window in this one. The left group of windows, the middle left group of windows, and the middle right group of windows, and the far right group of windows. Then the top group of windows, all the tops, just the horizontals, and the windows verticals themselves, and the windows with the main entrance together. So that covers all our groups. Now let's jump over to a sample house and we'll take a look at how to map this over. So we're going to use this house here to map a sequence from Fairy Pixel Dust using our simple import process. Now you can see this house is very different. It has it has 2 windows, and it has 2 garage doors and a front door. So things don't quite line up here. So what we've done is I've included the Fairy Pixel Dust mapping guide to help make decisions on where to map things to. So in this Excel spreadsheet, I've got the map of the house, and this shows what we name all of our different models. And this can help you map out exactly where you want the models on your house to map to the Fairy Pixel Dust house. So here we've got arches 1 through 4. This house does not include 8 arches, so we're just going to use 1 through 4 and exclude 5, 6, 7, and 8. The candy canes line up. This, of course, has a mega tree star that we're going to put in. There's no driveway trim. This house that we're going to model things to, it does not have floodlights, but it has wreaths on the house. So we're going to use those and just take the data from the floodlights and map them to the wreaths. We're going to use a couple different spinners that are included on this house. And then we're going to continue on with the main garage doors and use them as garage door 1, 2, and then the front door will be used as garage door 3. So we're going to map the house trim pieces, the mini trees and stars are going to get mapped over. And then this sample house, if we go back to this, it, like I said, it has 2 windows. But the Fairy Pixel Dust house has 9 different windows. And so instead of lining up the windows with the windows on this house, we're going to actually use all these different snowflakes. And this is usually the case. If you don't have a lot of windows, usually you'll have a lot of something else to make up for that. So in this instance, we're going to map all those different snowflakes to the windows on the Fairy Pixel Dust house so that we get everything imported nicely. And so that's how we decided to map everything over. Also included is this other tab here for all the different groups that we're using at Fairy Pixel Dust that we just reviewed. And so you can figure out how to map any groups that line up correctly. Now in this model, I have no groups installed. I've just got all the different models. And so I want to show you the simple import process. This is a new feature in xLights 2020.44. So we're going to go here, right click on the screen, and we're going to import the groups and models that come from Fairy Pixel Dust so that you have the exact same name. And so to do this, we're going to go import. We're going to jump over to, all right, and so we're going to jump over to this XML file that I'm going to put on our Fairy Pixel Dust website. This is an empty, this is an XML file that includes all the groups, and they're empty so that you can import these empty groups into your house. So let's take a look at this file in detail here. So if you open this up, this is an XML file. So it's a text file that has is laid out in the extensible markup language. And you can see within it, there are all the different groups. So I've got all the different groups that are included in Fairy Pixel Dust, so that we just went through. And then if you look at it, I've deleted and removed all the models. So nothing's in these groups when you import them. They're all empty. And so the best way to import this, like I said, this is a new feature. We're right clicking on the model screen here, and we're going to import this this file from Fairy Pixel Dust that includes all the empty model groups. Now if we take a look here, new in this version of xLights 2020.44 is this new checkbox that says include empty model groups. So from here we can actually go through and select all. Does not seem to work. So we're going to select all these groups one at a time, and as you go through them, and I won't bore you with the details of me clicking on all of them. So I'll just show you quickly all these ones when we'll hit OK. And there all the groups show up on this model house on the left. From there, we just go through the process of now selecting what models we want to include in this group. So we talked about this house doesn't have floods, so we're going to map the wreaths over to this group. And so we're going to move these wreaths from left to right here into the models group, and now they're included in this group. And so from there, we can simply go through each of these groups and include all the different models into the groups and get everything lined up as much as possible to match Fairy Pixel Dust. So once we've configured all the groups. That's probably the hardest part, is kind of going through all the groups. We have a lot of them, but you only have to do this once. Once that's complete, and I'll flip over to make this quicker, we'll flip over to a house that has this done. All right, so here we are with all the groups inserted and complete. And so now we can see there's the all floods, the all house, all the trim, the entire piece of property, and all these groups are configured now to match as close as possible the group configurations for Fairy Pixel Dust. Now from here, we can continue with a simple import process. So now that the grouping is complete for this specific house, we're going to import one of Fairy Pixel Dust's sequences. So we're going to jump over to the sequencer here. We're going to click on New Sequence. We're going to create a new musical sequence. And we're going to import, let's do White Christmas here. So we'll click on this and click Open. Here's the MP3 for that song. 40 frames per second is what we sequence all of ours at. We're going to do the quick start. And now we can go through and click Import and Import Effects. And so we're doing White Christmas. And so here's the sequence data that you get from Fairy Pixel Dust when you open it. The zip file that's included. And now you can see here are all the groups and models for your house on the left, and here is all the sequence data line. So this list shows you where all the data exists that we, and all the groups we use to create this sequence. So for the simple import process, now that we have all the Fairy Pixel Dust groups included, all we have to do is click AutoMap. Now we can see, because we use the same names in the groups by importing the Fairy Pixel Dust groups, AutoMap has mapped almost everything. So now what we have left is just a couple of things to move over ourselves manually. So we're going to scroll down here to the Megatree stars. So here, this is the Boscoyo Chromostar 36 6 ring is our Megatree star. So we're going to drag this down to the Megatree star, and that's done. Now in Fairy Pixel Dust, we have a Rosarith, and this sample house does not have a Rosarith, but it has a matrix. Now, a lot of times what can be put on the Rosarith actually maps to a matrix fairly well. So we'll try this out. We'll put that on the matrix. We'll skip this submodel. When you see the slash, that means that's a submodel. And so we don't have submodels within our matrix, so we'll exclude these different submodel groups. Now this is house trim, so main entrance. So we'll put this on the lower roof, main entrance vertical. Let's take a look. So we'll go to a house verticals group. So that should work, main house trim. So this is a submodel for just verticals. So we're going to move that to this group to make that one work. Main house trim, we'll move this to house trim, main garage roof. And then the mega snowflake. And so this house does not have a mega snowflake, but it does have a coral wreath. And so instead of using the mega snowflake, we'll use the coral wreath. And then we have 3 different submodels. It just so happens this coral wreath has 3 strands within it. So we'll move these into those strands, and that should line up quite well. So strand 1, strand 2, and strand 3 there. Now everything's moved. So the only thing left that we didn't get to move over was these 2 small submodels within the GE Rosarith. And so we're going to exclude those and let those go. You can import those to some extra pieces if you want to see what's on there, but I think these are modeled very well just for the Rosarith. And if you have a Rosarith, those will map over perfectly. So we'll click OK. And are we going to save without, yes. So we could save this mapping. but it's not completely necessary because we're using the simple import process by mapping groups like we showed you. So we're going to continue without saving that. And here we are. We have all the model data imported. And we can click on render here and see what we get just using the simple import process. After this, we can make some tweaks or adjustments based upon the house. But otherwise, everything should come across quite well. So let's take a look and see what we've got here. So this is looking pretty good. Looks like we've got the majority of the data using our simple import process. Now I want to pause it here and point something out, right? So this looks great, but the tree has turned red. And so what you'll notice with importing some of the models from Fairy Pixel Dust is we actually include images inside the tree sometimes. And so at this point, we'll go down to the mega tree here. We'll find the mega tree. And here we go. Here we can see the mega tree and the mega tree star have an image that belongs on the tree. And so that's why the tree is turned red at this point in time. If any model within the importing from Fairy Pixel Dust turns red, that means there's an image here and it's missing the link to it. And you can see within xLights, it only knows where it lives on my layout. So we're going to go update this. So we'll move this over. We'll click browse. We're looking for the bells.gif. And so we'll go up one level. And included with the sequence data, you get the tree images, and these are made by Fairy Pixel Dust. We don't download these from the internet. We actually make these models ourselves. And there we go. Now that's working. And we can go to the tree one, and we'll browse to this and grab that bells for the tree star as well. And now if we go back, we can see that's working and it's not red anymore. And our sequence will continue working. So that's how we use the simple import process. So let's go through another one quickly here and just show you another sample of how to use the simple import process again now that we've got this figured out. So we'll go close this sequence and we'll just walk through it one more time. So we'll discard this sequence completely. We'll go create another new one. And we will jump over to, we'll do this new one that we just did, Okomo Kame Manuel. Here's the MP3 for it. We'll open that, 40 frames per second, quick start. And now we can go import effects. And we'll open up the sequence data. Click open. And here you can see this one, he uses even less models and groups. And so we'll click on auto map. And now we're down to just a handful of things left to model over. So we're going to move the megastar down to the megastar. We're going to move the GE flakes. So this time we can grab these, and there's 5 different GE flakes here. There's 9 different snowflakes. So I'm going to do an interesting trick. I'm going to move these in here like this. So we're going to go 5 to 9, 4 to 8, 3 to 7, 2 to that one, and 1 to that one. Now we still have 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 left here that don't have any data. But actually continue on. I can go grab number 4 and copy this to 4. No, it actually makes a duplicate copy of the sequence data. So you can see I've got GE Flake 4 here on Snowflake 8, and I have it on Snowflake 4. So I'm going to continue this process and just duplicate the data here so that I use up all of the different snowflakes. and move those down. Then we've got the rosary wreath. So again, this house does not have a rosary wreath, so we're going to move this to our matrix, which is going to be under M. All right, there's the matrix. We're going to skip this submodel that's been configured. And then we've got house trim. And here's our house trim. Let's move this so we can read it all. House trim, roof horizontal. And here we've got garage horizontals. Here, we'll put this on the main garage roof. The mega snowflake again maps to this house as the coral wreath. And the mini trees and stars group, we'll scroll down. And here's a mini trees and stars group for this house. Okay, so we'll click OK. We won't save this. And now everything's mapped over using our simple import process. And we can render this and see what we get. This will take a second to render. And as soon as this completes, there we go. We can watch it import. And there we go. And this covers using the simple import process. And you can see how quickly we are able to import the Fairy Pixel Dust sequence data using groups from Fairy Pixel Dust, and how quickly we can import all those groups and map them to this house. I hope this was beneficial, and if you have any questions about this, feel free to email us at Fairy Pixel Dust. I'll try and help you out as much as possible. Thanks. Have a good day.